I'm going to start our recording here. We've got a few people out traveling as usual, but that's okay. Muy buenos días.
Buenos días.
¿Cómo están todos?
Muy
Bien,
bien.
gracias.
¿Están bien? ¿Están
Bien.
bien?
¿Y tú?
Ah, bien, muy bien, muy bien. Aunque no monté en bici, estoy bien.
Muy bien.
Although I did not get to ride, I am well. Okay. Bien. I anticipate that you are probably going to have some questions about all of this, these verbs that use lead that are kind of odd, these odd verbs that are like gustar. I'm planning to do a lot of work for you guys today on these verbs. You have learned these little pronouns. They're called indirect object pronouns, but all these little words do, and the little words are me, te, nos. Le and les are the ones that give us troubles. Me, te, nos are always nice, consistent words. One thing you will notice, you don't have to think about if me, te, and nos are indirect objects or direct objects or reflexive object pronouns. It doesn't matter. Me, te, and nos are always very consistent. They're always me, te, and nos. So you never have to pause to think about, do I use a different kind of pronoun? Because me, te, and nos are just always there, regardless of the indirect, direct, or reflexive function. But that le and les business, those are the sticklers. But in short, me, te, nos, le, and les, those little pronouns, which are indirects, say that something is happening to somebody. They don't tell you who does the action. They tell you who receives the action. But they are used with a whole lot of verbs that are like gustar. And when I look for little videos that might be helpful for you guys with this, sometimes they're called verbs like gustar. Sometimes a lot of the Mexicans who make videos like to call them backwards verbs, because gustar is a backwards verb because it doesn't really mean like, okay? It means we have to listen for the end of the sentence, right? The end of the sentence tells the thing that is liked. And because they don't have a verb that means like. So, you know, these are problematic, but a lot of verbs are used the same way that gustar is used. So we're going to take a look at those and practice them today and field any questions that you have. I want to start before we do anything else and see if you have any questions just before we start the main lesson. Your little listening video.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, what you would prefer, right? And they were choosing, and they picked kind of outlandish things. If you had to do without this or you had to do without that, which one? Yeah, the lesser of two evils, right? Which one would you choose? And Cindy, you had a question about that?
No.
I actually have one from the last class. I missed it, but there was, I'm confused about when you have to use two verbs, a star and then the second one, because when we have defined verbs in the past, like I'm running, it can be correr, or walking, camino.
Are you talking about past or present? Or?
Present. I'm not clear when you have to use the star with the verb. Because
Okay.
Week, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When do you use a star with an ando verb? Like estoy caminando? That kind?
yeah, because
Okay.
I mean, I'm not doing it right now, but I can give you an example of what I was in the questions that they did the last time. And for instance, I am asking you guys for a favor, and we used estoy pidiéndoles un favor.
Sí, sí.
And I'm not sure why we can't use the
Les
estoy with pedirles un favor. Estoy pedirles.
Okay.
Because pedir would mean in context, I'm asking for, or do you
Okay.
have to have
I
story?
think I know what you mean. Let me see. Let me do a quick breakdown. And then if this answers your question, let me know. If it does not, let me know. Okay. So the main verb we're looking at is pedir, and like different ways we might, morph or change the form of pedir to use it. But we're also using a les, because you're saying, I'm asking somebody for something, right? Okay. If it's happening right now, like I walk up to my kids and I say, I'm asking you guys for some help. And I'm doing it right now while I'm talking to you guys, yeah? I could say, les estoy pidiendo un favor. I'm asking you guys for a favor. And the les estoy pidiendo un favor, or that could be, I could swing that les and tag it onto the back of pidiendo. I can do that because yendo and ando verbs, gerunds, the ing verb, we're allowed to tag pronouns onto the end of it. So I can phrase that as les estoy pidiendo un favor, and that's correct. I can also say estoy pidiéndoles un favor. Both are correct. They're equally correct. One isn't better than the other. I think les estoy pidiendo is a little more common, but estoy pidiéndoles un favor is also acceptable. I can tag this les on because I've got an ing, an ando or yendo kind of verb. It's allowed with those kinds of structures. Estar with an ing, right? Okay, are we good so far, Cindy?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, what that means is it's happening in real time as I'm talking to you. Okay. I could theoretically also use plain old present tense. And that's also saying that this is happening right now. So I could just take out the estar, just go back to pedir as the single verb pedir, and just put it in plain old present tense. Now, when I do that, I'm using only one verb alone, one verb. And that one verb could be in present, that one verb could be in past, it could be in future, but when I'm using one verb alone, I can't just slap on a pronoun to the end of that. Okay, so I have to bring it up in front of the verb like they usually do. So les pido un favor is essentially not a whole lot different than les estoy pidiendo un favor. Except that les estoy pidiendo un favor gives it a little more rolling of, well, it's right now, it's right now, it's right now. And les pido un favor, I ask you guys a favor. I do ask you guys for a favor. Present tense, it can mean I am asking you a favor. But it doesn't have to be happening at this exact moment. The les estoy pidiendo has to be happening as we're speaking to use.
Got it.
Does that answer your question?
It does. I think my confusion is putting a star in the front. Do you always have to have it? But according to this, no, you don't, because there's an ing on the pido to begin with.
When we use an ing, an equivalent to the ing structure, and that is called present perfect tense. What that means is, in Spanish, it has a much more precise meaning. In Spanish, it precisely means the action is going on at the time the speaker is talking.
Okay, thank you.
So in other words, in English, we might say, I am driving to Fry's at noon. It's not noon yet. Yeah. When I say in English, I'm driving to Fry's at noon, I'm actually putting it right in future. I can't use the ing structure in Spanish to say that idea.
Right.
I can use plain old present tense. Or I can use voy a, I'm going to, right? But I cannot use the ing unless it's going on while the speaker is speaking. Or I
Got it.
should not.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I cannot. I should not. Okay, does that answer your question, Cindy?
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm just want to try and straighten out. Do I have to have a star in there? Because I'm doing some
Not
of that.
necessarily. Not
Okay.
necessarily. You
Okay.
have to have a star in there if you have a second verb
Yes.
in that ing, ing, and that means in Spanish, ando or yendo structure.
Got
The
it.
star works with ando and yendo verbs. Okay? Bien?
Thank you. Gracias.
Okay. De nada, de nada. Okay. Vale. Perfecto. So let's see. Did anybody have a question on the video on those preferences? Nada? Nada. Okay. Okay. Vale. Bueno. Okay. There are lots of these verbs that are called backwards verbs by some, or verbs like verbs like gustar for others, but they are kind of, for the English speaker, a little bit tricky and a little bit troubling. So we're going to go take a quick look back before I send you out to do some practice on this. Verbos parecidos a gustar. Verbs that are like gustar. And what this means is they don't mean the same thing as gustar, but they will behave like, have a structure like gustar. And that means they're going to use a me, te, nos, or a le, or a les to talk about who is affected by that action. And it also means that the verb, in most cases, in the vast majority of cases, will not go into a yo form, or a tú form, or a nosotros form, okay? Because we're going to say something creates a certain feeling for somebody, okay? Essentially, that is what goes on. Now, let me back up one thing here. Gustar, usually we use as gusta or gustan, right? See? We usually conjugate gustar as gusta. One thing is pleasing to somebody, or an activity is pleasing to do to somebody. Like, you know, if you happen to like skiing, me gusta esquiar, le gusta esquiar, a mi hijo le gusta esquiar. My son likes to ski. Skiing is pleasing to him. So activities use gusta, meaning doing an action, right? Or things that are singular in nature use gusta. But things that give pleasure that are plural, okay, need to use gustan. All right, so me gustan las flores. I like flowers. Yeah, me gustan las flores. All right. What you want to avoid is we cannot use these verbs, cannot use gustar or the other verbs that are like gustar as me gusto. Me gusto would mean I'm pleasing to myself, which can range from just kind of weird to kind of icky and punky. So no, we don't do that because you will get very strange looks from gustar. I'm going to give you one little inside fact on gustar. This will not pertain to the other verbs, but I told you that we don't generally use Gustar is gusto or gustas. Gustar in particular, you want to kind of really be careful with gustar and always make sure it's gustar or gustan. For this reason, gustar, if you did hear it used with yo form as gusto or gustas, it means somebody has a sexual romantic attraction. So be very careful with gustar. Don't use it as yo, don't use it as tú, okay? If somebody says, me gustas, likely you're in a bar setting and somebody is doing a hey baby on you. Me gustas means you are pleasing to me. And what it means is, wow, I have looked you over and you're looking mighty fine. How about a little drinky poo? So you do hear me gustas, yeah? You do hear that, but it is, I'm going to say it's like, it's more of a come on line. And there are people who have misused it in the past where like, you know, they're like just in a friendly conversation and like, they'll think, huh? When did this become like magnetic attraction between two people who like want to be together? No. So yeah. So be careful of that because gustar can, yeah, don't use it with yo, don't use it with tú unless you actually are hitting on somebody. Okay. Flirting. Serious flirting. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, the other verbs will not have those connotations, but I do want to tell the people that caveat about gustar because it is, you know, used as a hey baby. Come on line. Yeah, it's a come on. So be careful with that. These other verbs, however, will do that, but you're going to hear these a lot. You're going to hear these a lot. These are used a lot by a lot of people. And and also I cannot give you a finite list. Here are all the verbs that do this because there are a bunch and I will inevitably leave something off. Yeah. These are not the only ones, in other words, but these are the ones you might hear the most frequently. Okay. And you will notice that all these verbs kind of carry in a very general sense the meaning that a certain feeling, a certain attitude reaction is created when you use these verbs. Okay, like interest, like a need, meaning you're lacking something, you're missing something, a pain in a part of your body is something is causing pain to someone. Okay, something is important or matters. Something is annoying to somebody. Okay, so that is the reason you hear these used a lot. We talk about our mental reaction, our emotional reaction to certain things by using these verbs. So interesar, you will hear the verb used as interesa and interesan. You will not hear intereso. Okay. Falta and faltan, meaning something is needing. Faltar literally means to be lacking. So when you haven't got an item and, oh, shoot, you wish you had it, that's when we use faltar. Yeah. When something is missing out of your toolbox. Literally or figuratively. See.
Sorry. With interesar, if you were trying to say, I'm interested in mathematics, let's just throw that out. So you can't use the O with that.
No. No, not if you're using interesar. You could say estoy, oh, here comes estar again, because it talks about him. Estoy interesado. You could, but it is much more natural and much more, well, it's much more natural. It's what people will just use to say, me interesan las matemáticas. Yeah. Me interesa la ciencia. Science. I'm interested. We in English will say, I am interested in science, but it is much more natural and the usual way to express it for somebody to say, science is interesting to me. And that's why they're called backwards verbs, because the thing that is of interest is way at the end of the sentence.
So
But
drill
in
these.
fact, it is the subject of the sentence, technically, according to the structure. So all you need to know is, me interesa la ciencia, me interesa la biología, me interesa, me interesan los animales del desierto, me interesan los animales del desierto. Desert animals are interesting to me. Okay, now that kind of Spanish structure is not the way we structure it, but it is the way they typically structure talking about being interested in something.
Marilyn, is there always an article before the noun?
There will be an article, so
There
let's go
always
back
is
to
an
that.
article. Okay.
Yeah, well, unless it's an action, because actions,
Right.
infinitives don't have an
But
article.
if it's a noun, there's always an article in front of it.
There is, because you're
Okay.
talking about that whole thing as a general category. And when we talk about a noun as a general category, meaning everything in that category, we do use the article in Spanish. So it's a good thing to know. It is not, somebody will understand you if you leave it out. Okay, they will be able to understand you, but it will sound off. So it will sound correct and natural when you include the article. So if some of you are wondering, oh, what do you mean by article? It's that example. Me interesan los animales del desierto. Me interesan los animales. We say in English, I'm interested in desert animals. And we do not say the desert animals, but you will say the or the in Spanish, because we need to use the when we talk about everything in that category as a general category. Okay, so will it get in the way if you leave out the el, la, los, las? Will it get in the way and mean that somebody won't understand you? No, you will still be able, you will, if you make that error, it is an error, technically, grammatically, but somebody will still get the meaning. Yeah, okay. So leaving out the article doesn't mean somebody totally doesn't understand what you're saying, but it will sound off, funny, odd to them, okay? Because that is what they use. So yes, we do use an article. If you're talking about an activity instead of an actual noun thing, then of course we don't use el, la, los, or las with an activity, an infinitive, like me gusta caminar, I like to walk. Me gusta jugar al tenis, I like playing tennis. Jugar, right, is not a noun. Jugar, yeah, so it's not el jugar. It's just jugar. But when we talk about nouns, things, we need an el, a la, a los, or a las. So, okay, vale. And a couple more, and you're going to see an example of this one in your homework later on. Dad actually is used a lot in this kind of sentence. So I want to caution you a little bit because you'll hear this quite a lot. Dad with a noun, and that means something gives you a certain feeling, and the noun talks about the feeling. So this is a tricky one. We're not going to practice it like a super bunch in your examples right now, but do know it is out there. So, me da miedo ver las arañas. It scares me to see spiders. Me da miedo ver. It gives me fear. Okay. You hear dar used sometimes to say literally giving something to somebody. But sometimes we use dar with a noun, or me da nervios. It gives me the jitters, literally. Me da nervios manejar en la autopista 101. It gives me the jitters. It makes me nervous driving on the 101.
Mm.
Okay, so you me da nervios, me da with the noun nervios, me da miedo. It scares me. It's one of the ways. Spanish has a lot of ways to say it. Something is scary to somebody else. Me da hambre. Me da hambre. It gives me hunger. Hunger is a noun. Me da hambre oler pan en el horno. It makes me hungry smelling bread in the oven. Okay. So literally smelling something baking makes me hungry. It gives me hunger. So dar is sometimes, but not always, used like gustar. So be aware of that. So you get examples like it. Me da nervios hablar en español. It makes me nervous to speak in Spanish. Me da igual, which means it's all the same to me. It gives me equal, means it's all the same to me. It means you don't care. You don't have a super big opinion one way or the other. Me da igual. It's all the same to me. Me da asco el olor del hígado. Perdón.
Disgust.
Yeah. The smell. Asco means grossness.
Disgust. Disgusting.
Asco, yeah, disgusting. Asco is the feeling of disgust. Like if the idea in your head is, oh, that's gross, that's asco. Okay, me da asco el olor del hígado. Okay, here's some other verbs that do that too. Fascinar, fascina, fascinan, parecer, parecen. This is actually a pretty common one. Parecer is often used kind of like this video was used. This video was used to talk about, would you like one thing or the other? If you had to choose, like lesser of two evils, which one would you go without? Talking about preferences. Well, parecer is kind of the same way. It's asking preferences. Parecer literally is, how does something seem to you, to him? And it's often used to ask how you feel about doing something. Would you like to? Would you like to? Parecer is often used for that. I'll give you a little example. Somebody will ask, ¿qué te parece tomar una taza de café? How does it seem to you taking a cup of coffee? Well, literally what they're saying is, how do you feel about going and getting a cup of Joe right now? How do you feel about doing that now? So somebody's asking if you would like to.
Repita, por favor. Repita, por favor.
Sí. ¿Qué te parece tomar un café?
Okay.
What do you think about having a cup of coffee? Yeah. Literally, it means, does it seem, yeah, how does it seem to you to take a cup of coffee? Yeah. But what they're really saying is, what do you think about doing that? What do you think about having a cup of coffee? They're looking to get an affirmative response. Oh, sí. Me parece buena idea. It seems like a good idea to me. Yeah. ¿Qué te parece? If anybody asks you, ¿qué te parece? And doing something. ¿Qué te parece? Is literally asking you, would you like to do that thing? So para que sepan. So that's kind of a lot of verbs. We've got all of these: interesar, faltar, doler, importar, molestar, and then these other ones, you know, fascinar, parecer, dar. So now we come up to these prompts, and these prompts are asking about, well, the prompts, we've got question marks at the end because you have to fill in an idea, and I don't know what your idea is. So we're talking about what your grandkids or kids, depending on what you have, what your grandkids or kids are interested in. Yeah, we have a prompt saying, the first one said they're interested in, but they don't care at all about. Importar means, no importar means don't care. Literally meaning it is not important to them, but we in English would say somebody doesn't care. No me importa, no me importa, no me importa comprar las joyas. I don't care about buying jewelry. Okay? No me importa comprar las joyas. I don't care about buying jewelry. All right? Meaning it's not important. So I don't care. Okay, so what they don't, because we can make it a negative, what they don't care about. When I do a lot of
Wait, that's connected to number one.
it's
Number
connected,
two.
but it's the flip side of number one. Number
Okay.
one is asking what
What
they
interests
are
you?
interested in.
Yeah.
And the other one is asking what they don't care about at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The para nada means not at all. Yeah. And I'll put a little thing in there. Para nada is not at all. Yeah. Bien. Ooh, talk about what hurts when you exercise. Yeah. If it's one body part, it'll be duele. If it's a bunch of body parts, it'll be duelen. Because we've got, yeah. Because if your knees or your hips, yeah, or your arms hurt, then it's got to be the plural, right? But if it's only one knee, then okay, it's duele. Me parece ideal tener. It seems an ideal thing to have something. Yeah, you're going to fill in the something. It bothers us. Something bothers us. Número 5. Wow, you can't paint your house. Well, why not? You're lacking. You're missing something. You're missing something. What you're going to talk about is what you haven't got. What you're going to talk about is what you still need to get. What you still need to get if you can't paint your house. It could be a bunch of different things. Okay. Oh, my husband or my wife gets hungry. Le da hambre. Cuando? Le da hambre cuando. Gets hungry when something else happens. Fill in the rest. And we're going to fill in the end here with an easy one. Nos encanta. We love something. Encantar is just a step up in intensity from gustar. It's a step up in intensity, meaning it magnifies the feeling of gustar instead of like, really, really, really like. And in English, we say love, not isn't a romantic thing, but you enjoy saying something so much, you love it. Okay, yeah. So
Marilyn?
those are the, see.
You know, when you say I like something, it's me gusta, me gusto,
Me
or me
gusta.
gusta.
Me gusta. Muy importante, not gusto.
Okay.
Gusto means I'm giving pleasure to somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I
Only
probably am
is-
in the privacy of my home, but you don't want to go there because that, yeah, that is what, yeah, it gusto will have a very kind of almost sexual connotation, so don't go there.
Me gusta.
Yeah, me gusta. Be careful with that one. The other ones don't carry that kind of connotation, but be careful. Tengan cuidado, be careful. Okay, bien. I'm gonna create your little groups here. Grupos de, uy, 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 uy.
Well, I think Cindy has another question there.
Oh, sí, perdón, perdón. Oh, and Cindy, you're on mute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The second to the last sentence that you did was da, it had da in it. My
Yes.
mi esposo,
Yeah.
da, what, can you use has instead, tiene?
You can. There is a little, there is a little nuance. Let's see what that nuance is. I could say mi esposo tiene hambre. Mi esposo tiene hambre cuando camina 10 millas. My husband is hungry when he walks for 10 miles. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And that's okay. But I could also express that same idea using a somewhat different verb. I could express that same idea with a mi esposo le da hambre caminar largas distancias.
Okay.
Le da hambre caminar largas distancias. It bothers him to walk long distances. That makes him hungry. It makes him hungry. Yeah, that's the difference with dar hambre. Bien? Does that make a little more sense? Sí o no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Bien. Okay.
little bit of difference.
A little bit of, yeah. And so, you might say, well, then why does it matter? Well, it might not. It might not make a huge difference, but, depende. It depends, right? It depends. Bien. Okay. Un momentito. Perdón. Okay. Bien. We're good so far? See?
Yeah.
Bien. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have one person who is not going into breakout rooms, but that is okay. Está bien. I have taken that into consideration, so you can choose to go in. The person who doesn't want to go today, not a little under the weather, just go in and listen, or just don't join. No input, that doesn't matter. You will see the questions when you go into the breakout room, so you can hit your join button. And I'm thinking I'm going to need to give you a good 7 minutes at, sí, 7 minutos, por lo menos. And we'll get that into the breakout rooms. Okay, a ver. Está bien. Y Jenny, gracias. Thank you for letting me know. And I silly put you in anyway, but you can just sort of listen and okay. Estos verbos siempre son difíciles. These verbs are always kind of tough because it is tough for people to resist the urge to put it into a yo form. And that can be kind of a tricky thing. Which I guess says we do too good of a job pounding into people's brains. Hey, you need to conjugate these your verbs for yo and do and telling who does the action. In English, we often do kind of a reverse thing. You know, we'll say, I am interested in, or, you know, I'm annoyed by that. And so you have to kind of think to whatever it is, the thing you're talking about at the end of the sentence. And that tells you which way to conjugate the actual verb. I think we're going to give everybody about 7 minutes to work these. And that should be enough to kind of get a handle on what's working and what maybe is not as obvious and where you have some questions. Y tenemos un minuto más. A ver. Okay. We're gonna close the rooms here, bring people back, see what they got, what maybe they didn't get. And Zoom gives people one full minute to wrap up and before it closes out and brings everybody back to the main room. And we're looking about a half a minute. They're giving for that cleanup process there. Okay, bien.
So can I ask a quick question?
Sí, 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 claro.
So Liza and I, both of us missed class last week.
Oh, okay.
So we weren't sure, or I wasn't sure. Basically, we just want to use the start of what you gave us and then put a subject in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
sí, sí.
good.
Okay.
That's what we did.
Por ejemplo, a mis nietos no les interesa el programa Sesame Street. My grandkids, yeah. A mis hijos no les interesa el programa Sesame Street. Boom, okay. No les interesa, okay. Pero a mis hijos les interesa. No, perdón. A mis hijos les interesan las películas de Marvel. A mis hijos les interesan las películas de Marvel. Bien, ok.
Marilyn,
Es un ejemplo.
now, Pat and I have a question from our
Sí,
little
sí,
breakout session there. We just kind of want to check. So you just said les interesa los películas. So is there any kind of connecting word like de or anything needed between the interesa and the object that they're interested in?
All you're connecting on the end of the interesa or interesan, plural, is a thing or an activity.
Right.
It could be an activity.
Right, but is there any word that's needed between, like in this case, interesan and
the thing.
The thing or the activity?
If it is a noun, an article. So the article is el, la, los, las, the word for the. So, a mis hijos les interesan las películas de Marvel, okay? But if we plug in, instead of a noun, an infinitive, meaning they like an action, an activity, then we don't use any little extra word, because we don't use el, la, los, or las with an infinitive, okay? So if they like
Football.
if they like
Basketball.
to play, if they like just football, yeah. A mis hijos les interesa el fútbol americano, okay? But if it's playing football instead of just watching it, then a mis hijos les interesa jugar al fútbol americano.
Jugar.
Les gusta jugar al fútbol americano, but les interesa el fútbol americano. Does that help you, Mark?
That's exactly what we were trying to make sure we got right.
Is the article. Now, if you forget the el, the la with a thing, you know, with the noun, somebody will understand you, but it sounds just kind of off. It sounds off. It sounds odd to them. Like, why would somebody drop that? It would be like you saying, I like the football in English. I like the football. Somebody says to you, they're learning English. I like the football. Well, you know what they mean, but it sounds a little, it's like you say,
Okay.
that's so cute that they got that wrong. That's so cute that they got that wrong, but you understand what they mean. So you see what I'm saying here. You know, above all, you want to be understood. And if you forget your el, la, los, or las, it's not the end of the world, but it sounds a little off. Okay.
Okay, so you
otra
can just
pregunta.
use that el basketball, or so it's not correct when you say that
El
less interest in basketball. No.
No, oh, buena
Okay.
pregunta. Yeah, we stick an in. Yeah. In English, we use in. They're interested in something.
Mm.
Literally, what you're saying in Spanish is this thing interests, INTERESTS, interests them. But we're not very likely in English to say race cars interest my brother-in-law. Now, would somebody understand you in English? Race cars interest my brother-in-law. It's correct. It makes sense. Somebody knows what you mean, but does it sound off, a little odd? Because it's not the usual way we string our words together to say that idea. We would say my brother-in-law is interested in. We have to stick that in word in, right? Interested in race cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need that in.
Okay.
Yeah, don't need that. Buena pregunta. ¿Qué más? You know, these are all those little odd things that just come up, right? Bien, okay, vale. Anybody got some interesting examples they want to share? Ejemplos interesantes.
A mis hijas le interesan los perros.
Los perros. Interested in dogs. Sí, exacto. Muy bien. Muy bien. ¿Hay otro ejemplo? Is there any?
I have an example, and a question actually. Mis nietos les interesan en gatos y hablan. So they like cats and they like to talk. But I don't know if I'm saying
Okay.
that right.
And you want to put in a mis, was it nietos? A mis nietos. A mis es importante. That little a is important. A mis nietos les interesan los gatos y hablar. Okay. If they're little kids and they like the kitty cats, les gustan los gatos. They like cats.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter whose house they go to, all cats. Yeah. Or all doggies. It'll be a los gatos or a los perros. Yeah. Because you mean all of them. Doesn't matter where they see them, they love them. Yeah. And that's the way kids are. Okay.
And y hablan, but I'm saying that they like cats and they like to talk.
Y hablar. Y hablar.
Okay, that's right.
So the activity piece of that has to stay in infinitive. Hablar.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. If my grandkids love to run all over the place, a mis nietos les gusta, because you said, les gusta correr. And I could give more information by saying, a mis nietos les gusta correr por todas partes, all over. A mis nietos les gusta correr durante su partido de fútbol, during their soccer game, running during their soccer game. Yeah. So I can always add on extra stuff, but a mis nietos les gusta correr, les gusta caminar, les gusta jugar, right? Now, here's an interesting difference, Lisa. A mis nietos les gusta jugar con los gatos, playing with cats, who les gusta jugar, playing, because the focus is on the playing, right? Who les gusta jugar con los gatos, with the cats, but a mis nietos les gustan los gatos. Bien?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. They
So,
like play with
it's a
cats or
if they
and
just like playing, it's jugar, and it's gusta jugar. But if it's cats without the jugar part, it's les gustan los
I like
gatos.
cats. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and that is something that people often kind of get tripped up with, but don't let it trip you up. It's really an easy thing to do, right? If I like saying I like reading romance novels, the focus is I like reading. And the romance novels is just the stuff I like to read. Me gusta, me encanta leer las novelas de romance. See? But if I'm saying I like romance novels and I leave out the reading part, it's me gustan las novelas de romance. ¿Bien? ¿Sí? Esa es la diferencia. That's the difference. Okay. Hay otros ejemplos. ¿No?
Nope.
¿Nada?
No.
Okay. Okay. Bien. This is something that is kind of funky and weird, but it is something you will get used to poco a poco, little by little. And these, it just takes a lot of practice. We're going to show you one little video. I'm going to show you one little video here, which kind of, it magnifies something. It gives us some examples. It's called A Little Slice of Real Spanish.
Mhm.
¿Dónde está? I have to turn my sound on here. Momentito. Okay. This will just magnify before we do our next. Me importa un bledo. They're going to show you. Sometimes you may hear this phrase because we're going to give you a little, some caveats with this importa business. You may hear different things added on. Me importa un bledo y otros verbos que funcionan como gustar. I don't give a rip. Me importa un bledo. I do care a lot. And other verbs that work like gustar. Okay.
Hola. ¿Conoces esta expresión? ¿Me importa un bledo? Significa que no me importa nada.
Me importa un bledo. Me importa un bledo is kind of it's an idiom. And there's un bledo. That's what a bledo is. Amaranth. What the heck is that even? No sé.
Weed.
I don't know. Yeah. But me importa un bledo significa que no me importa nada. Me importa un bledo really means I don't care at all. It's kind of like, okay, you might say, I don't give a rip. I don't give a blankety blank. Yeah, okay. When you hear me importa un bledo, it's just a little idiomatic twist. It sounds like you care, me importa, it's important to me, I care about, but what it really means is I don't at all. Okay, they're going to give you some little fun twists on this. Me importa un bledo, really, amaranth is important to me. That's not what it means. It means I don't care at all. I couldn't care less. Oh, yeah. So what you hear somebody saying that, it puts a little twist on it. Yeah.
Se pueden sustituir muchas cosas por bledo. Por ejemplo,
And you can stick other words in besides bledo with me importa. And some of them are rather naughty though, but you should know that if people throw this out, they're being very colloquial, and it is in some cases naughty, or in some cases just really, I don't give a rip. Yeah.
me importa un pimiento.
Me importa un pimiento. And notice it doesn't say peppers. as a category. Yeah, again, this is like I don't give a rip. Like it matters to me about as much as a pepper. Yeah, but it's a fun little idiomatic twist. Yeah, me importa un pimiento. That's what a pimiento is. Yeah.
Me importa un pepino.
Yeah, it matters to me about as much as a cucumber, but yeah, see. These are
Me
not
importa un
naughty.
comino.
Comino. I'm trying to remember what comino
Las
is.
siguientes
Let's see.
expresiones son bastante vulgares. Es mejor.
Oh,
Away
the
from-
following ones are naughty. Okay, the first ones you hear pepino, pimiento, comino.
Goddess.
Those are safe. Those are safe. These next ones are nasty, but when you hear them, just know, ooh, somebody is like getting a little potty mouth. Okay.
Imágenes de su significado.
It's better not to put the images in of what they mean, but just know they're naughty. They're naughty.
Literales.
Often they have to do with bodily functions. I'm just going to say that.
Me importa un pito. Me importa una mierda.
Ooh, ow, no, not that. No.
Me importa un
Oh,
carajo.
no, even worse.
Me importa un huevo.
No. Yeah.
Me importa 3 cojones.
Oh, wow. Yeah. 3 testicles. No. So all of these are considered to have to be vulgar, vulgar. Yeah. So, okay. Me importa with these. Me importa with these means that somebody doesn't give to you know what. Yeah. I don't know. We've got lots of colorful things in English, right? Yeah. I don't give a blank, blank, blank. Yeah, okay. These are the equivalents, but these are naughty. But just know people will, if they're frustrated, it'll just slip because, people get angry and they'll give one of those. They often have to do with body parts or bodily functions. Just know that. Okay. But no, if you
El
hear
verbo
it, it's
importar
naughty.
funciona igual que gustar.
And it
Hoy
works like
vamos a
gustar.
explicar cómo utilizar los verbos de este tipo, que suelen ser difíciles para hablantes de otras lenguas porque tienen una estructura gramatical muy
and
especial.
They acknowledge that these are hard because the grammatical structure. Oh, yeah. And notice he said, no, me gusto los helados. It no suena bien means it doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound so well. It sounds off. No suena bien. Me gustan los helados. That doesn't work either. Yo gusto los helados. No, help. No, those are all bad. Those are all
Seguro
bad.
que ya has usado gustar para expresar tus gustos e intereses. La mejor manera de memorizar esta estructura es traducir gustar como to please,
So you
to
really
be
need to know that
pleasing
gustar
o to
means
cause
to
pleasure.
please. It doesn't really
Me gusta
like.
aprender español significa learning Spanish gives me pleasure o learning Spanish pleases me.
But we don't say that
Pero
in English.
normalmente se traduce como I like learning Spanish.
So it's translated as like, because that's what we say in English. Okay.
Hay muchos verbos que funcionan como gustar.
And lots of
Estos
verbs
son
work
algunos
like
de los
gustar
más
works.
usados para expresar intereses, gustos y reacciones emocionales.
And,
Aburrir.
yeah.
Me
Ooh,
aburren
here
las
even
clases
more.
de historia.
Yeah.
Apetecer. ¿Te apetece un helado?
Yeah. This is like saying, do you feel like? Yeah. Fancy is
Doler.
very English.
Me duele la actitud de mi hijo ante su padrastro.
And this can even mean
Encantar.
emotional
A
hurt.
nosotros nos encanta bailar.
Yeah, we love dancing. We love to dance.
Interesar. ¿Os interesan las películas de miedo?
This is a very Spanish thing. Yeah. Are you guys interested
Molestar.
in?
Me molesta mucho el tabaco.
Yeah. You don't like it when people smoke. Yeah.
Caer bien o mal. A Luisa no le cae bien Pedro.
Oh, this is a very useful one here. To fall well or to fall badly. It means liking a human being in a non-romantic way. Like in a very generic, non-physical attraction sense. Yeah. So if I want to say, oh, I like my son's girlfriend. I think she's a nice person. I like his girlfriend. See? Me cae bien la novia de mi hijo. Yeah. Somebody falls well on you or somebody falls badly, or you may even hear it as caer gordo, but if somebody falls fat, that's like the mal. So they can say, instead of caer mal, it can be caer gordo. Yeah, just know that sometimes they throw that in instead. So you like somebody, but non-romantic sense. Okay.
Impresionar.
Impresionar, something
A
impresses
mi hermano le
you.
impresionan los trucos de magia. Fastidiar. A mis padres les fastidia la música muy alta.
This is like molestar. Fastidiar. We have a word fastidious, which really has kind of a different meaning. If somebody's very fastidious, they're what? They're kind of picky.
Picky.
Yeah, they have, real specific expectations of how something is done. Right? Fussy.
Finicky.
Yeah, finicky, yeah. But fastidiar has a different meaning in Spanish. It's like, it's a synonym for molestar. Yeah. So it means irritating, annoying. Yeah, a negative kind of feeling.
Dar miedo, asco, vergüenza.
Oh,
¿Te dan miedo las arañas?
Yeah. Yeah. Be scared of, be grossed out by. Vergüenza means shame. To be at something is, something gives you shame. Something makes you feel very embarrassed. Yeah, it makes you feel embarrassed. Me da vergüenza. Me da vergüenza. Me da vergüenza el comportamiento de mis hijos. My children's behavior it makes me feel embarrassed. Yeah. Me da miedo, for scared. Me da asco, grossed out. Me da vergüenza, ashamed of, embarrassed by something. Okay.
Miedo.
La mayoría de estos verbos se pueden usar de dos formas.
You can use these two
Yo
ways.
gusto a alguien,
Oh, yeah.
me gusta alguien o algo.
But yeah, okay. The gusto is, that hey baby connotation. So
Aunque la más usada es esta.
stay away
Me
from
gusta
the gusto.
o me gustan algo o alguien.
Yeah, the more used form is me gusta, me gustan. So stay away from the gusto. It is legitimate, but it's really, when somebody's trying to pick somebody else. Okay. Yeah, gusto, pero.
Hasta aquí bien, ¿verdad? El problema empieza cuando quieres expresar los gustos de otras personas porque puedes confundirte y cometer
When
errores.
you want to talk about other people's feelings.
Es normal, suele pasar incluso en los niveles avanzados del aprendizaje. Te explicamos algunos de los errores más comunes al usar este tipo de verbos. Cuando nos referimos a terceras personas, no puedes olvidar usar el pronombre y la preposición a.
So here's something that you want to think about. She says, when we mean that we're talking about a third person party, don't forget to use an a preposition so that you are specifying who you mean by the word le, or you're specifying who you mean by the word les. Okay, so this is a thing that we English speakers tend to forget. You should have an a preposition if you name the human being, okay, that is referred to by the word le or by the word les. Let's
Por
show an
ejemplo,
example.
no es correcto decir mi madre gusta cocinar.
Yeah, this is not good. Mi madre gusta
A mi
cocinar.
madre.
Yeah, a mi madre. And now we still need the itty bitty pronoun. A mi madre le. A mi madre le. Okay. A mi madre le gusta. We cannot omit the le. right? But a mi madre just is very specific because le can mean a bunch of different people. You know, anybody who is one person could be represented by that pronoun le. So we define who we mean by le. A mi madre le gusta cocinar.
Lo correcto es, a mi madre le gusta cocinar. Tampoco puedes olvidar los pronombres me, te, le cuando usas a mí, a ti, a ella, etc. Aunque parezca que repites lo mismo, es necesario usarlos siempre.
Okay, so now Richie's saying, neither can you forget the pronoun me, te, or le. You always have to plug in that little hangnail pronoun, the me, te, le, nos, okay? If you use an a mi to be like super emphatic and a ti to be super emphatic, you can do that. It's extra, it's icing on the cake to add a mi, a ti, a nosotros, right? But you can't leave out the me, te, nos, le, or les. Okay, and I'll show you what they mean.
Por ejemplo, no es correcto decir, ¿a ti gusta esquiar? Lo correcto es, ¿a ti te gusta esquiar?
A ti te gusta, you can do that. A ti te gusta.
El uso de a mí, a ti, a él, etc. no es obligatorio a no ser que necesitemos dar énfasis o especificar el nombre de la persona a la que
So, the a mí, the a ti, the a él is not obligatory. It is not 100% grammatically necessary. It simply emphasizes or defines. So I can leave off an a mí, I can leave off an a ti. I cannot leave off the me, te, nos, le, or les. Those are essential, right? The a phrase is extra.
nos referimos. A mí me gustan las plantas. No es necesario usar a mí.
You don't have to use a mí. It's icing
A
on the
Paula
cake.
le gusta leer. Es necesario usar a Paula.
So it is necessary to use a Paula. It probably, unless you know from context that you're talking about Paula, because le could refer to just
Okay.
an infinite number of people. Okay, so I'm going to give you the link to that little bit, that little video, so that you can use that. But I want you to go out and try this again with some visual prompts. So I'll show you what that is going to look like. Ooh, it will look like this, except bigger. Okay. ¿Qué te parece? ¿Qué te parece? How does it seem to you? Meaning, what do you think? What do you think? ¿Qué te parece? ¿Qué te parece? What do you think? How does it seem to you? What do you think? What do you think about doing these things? See, and you get to plug in what you want, whether it's encantar or gustar or fascinar or interesar or importar or molestar. So you're going to get a couple of pictures. Ooh, voy a engrandecer esto. I need to make this even bigger. If you're talking about a play, un drama, yeah, or if you're talking about ver un drama, seeing a play, or un restaurante con mucha gente, a restaurant with a lot of people. See if you can use encantar or gustar or fascinar or any of those verbs at the top to talk about those two situations. Does that make sense? See? Yeah. Okay. I'm probably only going to send you off for 3 minutes for this because these are shorties. These are shorties. And you'll see the picture when you go into your breakout room. Okay.
I'm sorry, can I still go to a breakout?
Oh, yeah,
room
you can
earlier?
still, yeah, I think, does it give you a, oh, hang on. Let me find where I need to send you.
I had a problem with the internet there for a minute.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, it happens. It happens. Ooh. Where'd it go? I'm gonna plug you into this one. Okay, now I think you should see the join button. Yeah. Bien, 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 bien. Okay. Sí, bien. Okay. Fue mejor? A little bit better? Was it a little bit better?
Yeah.
Sí?
Sí.
Okay. We want to give you some off the cuff things to talk about here with. Okay. Bueno, ¿hay un buen ejemplo? Is there a good example you have here or no?
Marilyn?
Sí.
Oh, sorry, Diane, were you gonna say something?
Oh, no.
We were just talking in my group because I had said I don't like crowds, so I said no me gustan las multitudes, but it should be me. See?
Me. Right.
Sí.
No me gustan. Sí.
Mhm.
A mí, you can add an a mí. A mí
A mí
no
no me
me
gusta.
gusta. Bien.
Okay.
Sí. Right. Yeah, and you can make it negative too. Sí. Eso es. Okay. Okay, ready for the next one? Sí.
Mhm.
Sí. Okay.
Okay.
Tengo que añadir algo. I'm gonna add a little something. And I need to add some activities here. Okay, a ver, we'll send you back off for a couple more. Bien, ok, vale. Okay, let's bring people back. Muy bien.
All right, so
Okay.
we gotta know. It's like we're not sure about this because dar una caminata. When I look at it, it's like it's when the first one it's like it gives me the one that you give the example. Like it gives me a scare. It gives me we're not sure about
Okay.
using that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
so we should use me gusta dar
sí. Okay.
una
Dar una
caminata.
caminata.
Let's
Dar
take
una
a walk.
caminata is to hike.
Okay.
I should have probably put that in. Let me put my little share screen on. Tenemos una pregunta. We got a question here to finish up. Dar una caminata is not like me da miedo or yeah. Dar is an oddball verb because I know it means give, but dar una vuelta means like to take a turn around the block. And
Okay.
dar una caminata is just to take
To
a
hike.
hike. It's to hike. It's to
Okay.
hike.
To hike.
And there are different terms for hike. But that is one, dar una caminata. Okay, bueno,
Okay.
entonces, dar una caminata es hike, ¿bien?
Okay, so you can just say me gusta dar una caminata a las montañas.
En las montañas.
En las montañas.
En
Okay.
las montañas, sí, en las montañas. Bien. O, por ejemplo, sí, me fascina dar una caminata. Me fascina dar una caminata
Okay.
en las montañas. O, me molesta dar una caminata en las montañas. Es difícil, es muy difícil. Ok. O, por ejemplo, no me importa para nada. No me importa dar una caminata. ¿Ya? No me
Oh.
importa. ¿Bien?
A mis hijos.
Ok. Sí, entiendo. So,
No le gusta.
¿no les gusta?
Yeah, no les gusta dar una caminata en la montaña.
Pero son jóvenes, ¿verdad? Son muy jóvenes. Tienen como 10 años.
Muy aburrido.
Muy aburrido, sí.
Sí.
Sí, así es con los hijos. Bueno, Cindy, tienes una pregunta.
Just a quick question about emphasizing that you really like it. Do you use me gusta mucho or a mí me gusta? Still
Both.
use mucho or not use mucho?
Both. You can say mucho, sí. Me fascina mucho dar una caminata. Me fascina mucho. Yeah. Me gusta mucho. Ay, me molesta mucho. Me molesta mucho. Me molesta mucho limpiar las ventanas. It bothers me a lot to clean the windows. It really annoys me a lot. Yeah. The a lot can be, we can tag on a mucho right after the verb. We can also put in a mí. A mí me molesta mucho. It really bothers me. Yeah, we can do either one of those things.
Oh, okay.
Or put them together or not?
You can put them together. Sí, claro.
Cindy.
Sí, claro. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is, I will, sí, perdón, sí, Mark.
Yeah, we had a question in our little session there. Maybe we were overreading from the examples with the, in the handout about how to use dar here, mid da, as we read as like, okay, this needs to give us some kind of feeling. So it wasn't like we're just to take that walk in the mountains, but it was what feeling was that walk in the mountains giving me or us or whoever.
Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, it is like that. I am going to send you one of your listening videos is going to use dar a lot, okay, just to give you a feel for how that's used, but it's going to use just dar asco. And I'm going to give you another video, which I think some of you have seen before, but I'm just going to tell you which minute to so you're going to fast forward to the one segment. Yeah. Because the verb on the second video or the segment on the second video that's important to you is not the whole thing, which is using all of dar in all different ways, but just how we use that. Okay, because the guy that she is working with on that, he is going to have some questions on how he uses that properly. And that'll clear up your questions, I think. I'm going to send you those little photo prompts, and you're going to take a look at 2 more photo prompts that we're going to use for warm up. And I'm going to tag on to the end some extra prompts to use for conversation next week with these kinds of verbs. But we're going to amplify a little more. Okay, so on the conversation practice next week, I'll give you some prompts to start off. And you'll plug in an idea, saying something bothers something, and maybe talking about why that is, or when that happens. So we're going to talk about maybe tagging on a little extra information to that basic thing of adding, I hate doing this. Yeah. Tag on some extra information. Okay. Bien. And I'm going to leave you with one last idea. Una idea breve, bien breve, pretty brief idea. But I want to add this one thing because it kind of matters. It kind of can make a difference. There is, ooh, I can't even spell that. Still can't spell it. There is kind of a big difference between saying no importa and no me importa. Adding a me makes a big difference. I'm going to show you why. No importa is something that somebody may just throw out there as a response. No importa just means it doesn't matter. Right? Somebody may say to you, okay, you're waiting for change. Yeah, you had to spend $4.95, and it was, and you gave them a $5 bill. And they haven't got that nickel, those 5 pennies to give you back. Yeah. And so if you would just want to say, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Somebody just, no importa. Doesn't matter, right? This is kind of a neutral thing somebody may throw out as a response. No importa. No importa. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Not a big deal. Oh, like when somebody says not a big deal. Yeah. Yeah. Like the response is, oh, don't worry about it. Nah, no importa. Doesn't matter. But no me importa has a very different meaning. It means I don't care. It means I don't care, meaning I have no interest. I have no interest. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. It is not important to me at all. No me importa carries with it a very negative connotation. Even though both of these have the word no in them, this has a very negative connotation. No me importa. It's not important to me. Yeah.
It's more personal.
It is in a way. Yeah, it is. Whereas no importa does not, it doesn't really carry a negative connotation. No, it just means, oh, that doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So there's
how is
kind of
that
a big
different?
difference.
Yeah.
How is that different from no pasa nada?
Oh, no, no importa is not very different from no pasa nada. No pasa nada is what you hear a lot of people say. And what it literally means is it's not happening. What people really mean by no pasa nada is it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Nothing going on here. Like the police telling you to walk by, everybody's gawking at something that's happening on the street. No pasa nada, no pasa nada. Yeah, nothing going on. Nothing to look at here. Move it along, people, move it along. Yeah. No pasa nada. People will say, no big deal. It doesn't matter. It's not important. Nothing going on. Nothing going on. That's the no pasa nada. And again, it's very kind of neutral. Yeah. It's kind of a
general
thing. See? Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted you to kind of know that difference. No me importa kind of personalizes it really, but no importa without the word me makes it very impersonal. And it's something people will say. And yes, it has a no in it, but it's not like a negative connotation. Yeah, you get the difference with that? See?
Sí.
Okay,
Sí.
so you'll get some prompts to use these over and over again and amplify. Yeah, give some more details for next week and a couple of little videos to listen to. Bien? ¿Todo bien?
Gracias.
Excelente, de nada, de nada. Es un placer, como siempre, as always. It is a pleasure.